一往骸骨流淌的血光，你这竟能扛住我的虚真幻境。
Luo Feng's breakthrough to the immortal level would be a truly momentous event. It is from this level onward that an expert is truly considered an immortal, one who will no longer die from natural causes. The power of the weakest immortal, bearing the title of Army Lord, is roughly equivalent to that of 200 world masters. Meanwhile, an invincible immortal king is 80,000 times stronger than a peak world master. As mentioned earlier, the cultivation level of immortals is usually divided into three main subcategories depending on their strength: Immortal General or Army Lord, Immortal Marquis, and Immortal King. However, some immortals receive the title of king even though they do not truly meet the requirements. This can happen when a peak immortal king or someone above that level allows a peak immortal marquis to call himself a king, or when an immortal marquis stays within a single universe country. In typical universe countries, there are very few immortal kings, if any at all, so powerful immortal marquises may call themselves kings within the borders of a universe country. True immortal kings, however, receive their title officially from powerful organizations such as the Virtual Universe Company and usually work under one of these great entities. The Army Lord and Marquis ranks are further divided into lower, higher, and peak stages. An immortal whose power equals that of 200 world masters would be classified as a lower immortal Army Lord, while one whose power equals 80,000 world masters would be considered a peak immortal king. There also exists the concept of the limit immortal king, also known as the Invincible Immortal King. Such would be Luo Feng, as implied by the title of this video. These incredibly powerful beings usually possess advanced body strengthening techniques, such as the beast god amplification or transformation, extremely potent secret techniques, or exceptional comprehension of the original laws. They are often special life forms whose understanding of the laws rivals that of a peak immortal king. There are also those who have undergone unique inheritances or acquired means to enhance their life gene level. Although there are many throughout the universe who can reach the level of a limit immortal king, only a few become invincible immortal kings, and they are even rarer than universe venerables. The weakest invincible immortal kings can survive direct clashes with universe venerables, while the strongest among them are capable of killing them. There are also immortal kings who surpass even the limit immortal kings, yet they are still not considered invincible immortal kings. Now, let us turn to Luo Feng's breakthrough to the immortal level. In his case, he needed to fully comprehend the law of gold, which was extremely difficult. It took about 3,000 years for Luo Feng to meet all the conditions necessary for the breakthrough. The law of gold belongs to the lower-tier laws of the spatial side. The leader of the primal chaos city personally visited Luo Feng, since Luo Feng had spent the last 3,000 years studying a move of his star map and was finally creating an absolute technique. It turned out that Luo Feng was in no hurry to achieve his breakthrough to become an immortal. He felt that he was still not strong enough. When asked, "When do you plan to become an immortal?" Luo Feng replied, "After creating the first 3 absolute techniques." The primal chaos city leader was stunned. It was already extremely difficult to create even one absolute technique. The first move was based on the first-level beast god inheritance, while the second move was based on the second-level beast god inheritance and was far more complex. Luo Feng created these absolute techniques step by step, and his understanding of the law deepened with each one. With the detailed guidance of the primal chaos city leader, he managed to create his first absolute technique after 3,000 years. But how long would it take to complete all 3 techniques? Luo Feng returned to study the second move, which was apparently much more difficult than the first. Fortunately, Luo Feng had more than enough foundation to comprehend the law. He spent 8,000 years gradually overcoming every obstacle, and at last, he completed the second move of his absolute technique. "Magnificent stars," murmured Luo Feng. "Red light cuts through dusk like a blade. The second move is complete." The first move of the absolute technique, known as the star map, was finished after 3,000 years. The second move took 8,000 years. Then Luo Feng began working on the third move. By that time, Luo Feng had already completed the third-level beast god inheritance, and with the help of his golden horned beast body and his Masha body, creating the first 2 moves had been manageable. The Masha body's spatial understanding allowed him to merge completely with space itself. The golden horned beast had merged with numerous blood river crystals and found great inspiration while observing the beast god sculpture. Nevertheless, Luo Feng encountered severe difficulties in creating the third move. His understanding of the law and the beast god concept were not insufficient. Yet something was missing for the completion of the third move of the absolute technique. It seemed it could take him hundreds of thousands, or even a million years, to create it. Inside the core, Luo Feng's form, transformed from the origin pearl, executed the second move of the absolute technique. He tried to discard the incomplete third move and use his power to strike the inner wall of the core. Breakthrough. No. But it didn't work. Luo Feng grew anxious. For the past 30,000 years, he had remained in seclusion. This isolation sparked rumors among other races, even within humanity, that he had vanished. 30,000 years of meditation, combined with outside gossip, indeed affected him. If I can't achieve my goal now, he thought, then I'll go on a journey across the universe. I've been here so long, yet I haven't truly seen the universe. All I've ever done is fight. Luo Feng suddenly felt an urge to travel across the universe. The time was right. It was now or never. For 50,000 years, Luo Feng's Masha body wandered through the boundless expanses of the universe. He journeyed to distant realms through the nation of God's teleportation systems, and from there began his grand voyage. During these travels, he witnessed the marvelous wonders of creation. He explored black holes and felt within them a terrifying tearing force so immense that even his Masha body could not endure it. He learned to perceive the laws of the universe in everything. In the birth and death of stars, in rivers and mountains, in beasts and plants. All of it reflected the grand principles of existence. His consciousness gradually merged with the universe itself, granting him new insights. At times, moments of enlightenment struck him suddenly, greatly enhancing his power. On one life-bearing planet belonging to the prison clan, Luo Feng witnessed a tragedy. The planet was surrounded by a gigantic creature with 18 legs and a metallic head, its eyes glowing with golden light. It was an immortal subordinate of the Shadow Emperor. He had enslaved the entire planet, declaring it his own, and threatened to annihilate anyone who dared resist. The planet's millions of inhabitants, including dozens of sector lords, were all under his domination. Watching this, Luo Feng suddenly remembered the people from his distant past, comrades who had fought alongside him against the golden-horned beast. When the creature extended its claws, the space around was instantly filled with drops of rain. But these drops were not water, they were strikes of a blade. In an instant, the immortal warrior vanished, his body obliterated. The sector lords exploded like paper shredded by the wind. Far away, a figure stood holding a blade. It was Luo Feng. He smiled and disappeared. For him, this act was trivial, a spontaneous decision. But for the inhabitants of that planet, it was a miracle. Thus ended Luo Feng's 50,000-year journey. Just a month and a half before these events, he had completed the third move of his absolute technique. And now, with his consciousness at a new height, it was time to return home and take the step toward immortality. Those 50,000 years of wandering were necessary for him to understand both the universe and himself. His path to immortality was now based not only on strength but also on wisdom. When Luo Feng returned to human territory, he immediately felt a warm sensation. He was home. His original earthly body, sitting cross-legged in the palace, finally stood up and walked outside. As he walked among the palaces, Luo Feng recalled all the scenes he had witnessed throughout the universe during his travels. He was deeply moved by everything that had happened in the last 50,000 years, yet it all seemed so clear as he looked back. People said that Luo Feng once could have killed a limit immortal long ago, yet he has been missing for 80,000 years. There's been no word of him becoming immortal. He could have broken through long ago. Why does he remain a world master for so long? The Primal Chaos City leader sensed that Luo Feng, who had been in seclusion for 80,000 years, had finally emerged from his palace. He saw Luo Feng through all the buildings. He was walking with a calm, natural smile that reflected his tranquil state of mind. The Primal Chaos City leader could tell that all the experiences and insights Luo Feng had cultivated during those 50,000 years were now gathering to trigger a major transformation. Like a scholar who has accumulated countless studies and finally stands on the brink of enlightenment. Indeed, it was fascinating. This is one of the few Donghua where the main character does not rush his breakthrough, but instead takes tens of thousands of years to reach a new level. Share your thoughts about this in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe to the channel leave a like, and see you all next time.